July 31st, 2007, Tuesday evening. A 63-year-old man from California fell 12 feet in a section called 21 Jumps while exploring one of Central America's largest cave systems. Deep in a cave system extending over 17 miles beneath the Ozark Mountains, he broke his collarbone and ribs. So what happened next? Would rescuers be able to save him, or would he die where he fell? Fitton Cave, also known as Beauty Cave, is located within Buffalo National River in Newton County, Arkansas. With approximately 17.5 miles of mapped passages, it's considered the longest known cave in the state. The cave is closed and access is strictly controlled by the National Park Service. Only those with special permits and proven caving experience are allowed to enter. BF was part of a group of 8 cavers who had obtained one of these special permits. They weren't inexperienced. They had proper equipment. They'd been granted access because they understood the risks and had the skills necessary to navigate a cave system that included vertical drops, narrow crawls, and sections requiring technical climbing. So does being experienced always work? This is Spooky Nightmare. Here, stories are told not to frighten, but to remind. Before we start this section, I want to clarify something. The name of the person whose story we're telling appears in reports as BF, so the name isn't fully given. This could be for many reasons. Since our purpose here is to help people understand the incident better, we'll call this person Brand Foley here. This is purely so you can understand better. Visualize the incident better in your mind. It's definitely a made-up name. Thank you for your understanding. Now we can continue from where we left off. The group entered the cave through what's known as the wet entrance. Their plan was to explore the depths of the cave system, traveling approximately 1 mile from the entrance to reach areas few people had seen. One of these areas was 21 Jumps. 21 Jumps is a section of Fitton Cave that requires cavers to negotiate a series of drops, climbs, and passages over breakdown. Large rock pieces and rock formations that have collapsed from the cave ceiling over thousands of years. It's technical terrain. It requires careful foot placement, good handholds, and understanding how to safely pass vertical obstacles. And if you're not good at these, you can fall from about 12 feet onto big rocks. So you really need to understand this well and apply it. Tuesday evening around 7:30 p.m., while Foley was exploring the cave with his friends at 21 Jumps, he fell approximately 12 feet. Did his foot slip? Did he have a rope? Was he climbing? Was there a wetness factor on the ground? Hadn't he taken safety precautions? How it happened is unknown. A CA reports generally only give the outcome of the incident, basic error, and safety lesson. He landed hard. His collarbone and ribs were broken. He was a mile into the cave, far from any entrance, surrounded by 7 friends who now had to figure out how to get him out. The group assessed Foley's injuries as best they could with the conditions they had: headlamps, limited medical supplies, and the cave environment's constant cool temperature. A broken collarbone is painful. Broken ribs make breathing difficult. But Foley was conscious. He was responsive, and he could move. The question was whether he could exit the cave on his own or whether they needed to call a rescue. Approximately 2 days after the fall, around midnight Friday, August 3rd, the group reached the surface and contacted the Newton County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office then notified Buffalo National River Rangers. Rangers received the report around midnight. They immediately began mobilizing the park's search and rescue team along with local first responders and cave experts. According to the incident report, Sub-District Ranger Lee Brumbaugh served as crew commander for the operation. The only problem was access. Fitton Cave is located in one of Buffalo National River's most remote sections. According to the incident report, roads leading to the cave entrances were seriously flooded, due to recent weather events. The rescue team's arrival at the cave entrance was significantly delayed due to this weather event. When the rescue team deployed at the wet entrance and prepared to enter the cave, it was approximately 5 a.m. Saturday morning. And that's when the thing that surprised everyone happened. Foley exited the cave on his own. With a broken collarbone and broken ribs, he'd spent approximately 2 days inside Fitton Cave. He'd traversed the mile-long route back to the entrance, including the 21 jump section where he fell under his own power. He'd climbed, he'd crawled, he'd passed through vertical obstacles and narrow passages with injuries serious enough that most people wouldn't attempt to reach the exit. When he reached the entrance, the rescue team was there waiting to go in to get him. Foley was immediately evaluated by first responders and transported to a local hospital for his injuries. He survived. He recovered. Before we get into the next part, I want to show you something quick. According to the channel statistics, over 90% of people watching this video are not subscribed. If you enjoy these real cave incident stories, subscribing and liking really helps support the continuation of this content. Now, let's get into the next part. The incident raises an important question. When do you call for help? Foley's group considered notifying authorities approximately 2 days after the fall. So how correct was this decision? If your friend were in this situation, wouldn't your first action be to call for help? This decision probably saved significant time and resources. A technical cave rescue a mile into Fitton Cave would require special equipment and hours of effort to carry an injured person through difficult terrain. But it was also a calculated risk. If Foley's injuries had been more severe, if he couldn't move, if he'd lost consciousness, if his condition had deteriorated further during the extended time underground, the delay in calling rescue could have turned a survivable injury into something much worse: death. Cave rescues are among the most difficult and time-consuming operations in search and rescue. The environment is challenging, passages are narrow, vertical drops require rope systems. Communication is limited or non-existent, and every piece of equipment, every rescuer, every resource must be carried by hand. Because you can't get any vehicle into the cave, you can't get it through narrow passages. In Foley's case, the remote location from the entrance and the seriously flooded roads added another layer of difficulty to the rescue. Even after the rescue team was mobilized, it took hours to reach the cave entrance. The National Park Service manages Fitton Cave with a strict permit system for exactly this reason. The cave is one of the longest in Arkansas. It contains rare formations. It's biologically diverse. And most importantly, it's dangerous. Access is limited to those who can demonstrate proper training and equipment. Permits are required. The cave is seasonally closed to protect bat populations, and even with all these restrictions in place, such incidents still occur. Foley's fall at 21 jumps wasn't the result of inexperience or poor judgment. It was an accident, a slip, a misstep, a moment when poor footing or handholds gave way in a cave section requiring technical movement. This incident teaches us this lesson. Even experienced cavers with proper equipment could fall. Even careful people could get hurt. Remember, caves don't forgive. What set Foley's incident apart from normal incidents was his response. He assessed his injuries. He decided to attempt self-rescue. This could have been a wrong decision too. His condition could have worsened, but with a broken collarbone and broken ribs, he successfully exited through difficult cave terrain with a mile to the exit. This decision probably prevented a complex cave rescue operation that would involve significant resources and risk to rescuers entering the cave to extract him. But it also highlights the fine line cavers walk when things go wrong underground. The decision between self-rescue and calling emergency help isn't always clear. Injuries can worsen. Conditions can deteriorate. And the longer someone stays underground with untreated injuries, the greater the risk. In Foley's case, the decision worked. He safely exited the cave. He was treated at a hospital. He recovered. The 21 jump section where Foley fell continues to be part of the cave system. Permitted cavers still negotiate that terrain. And the National Park Service continues to carefully manage access, knowing that despite all precautions, accidents can still happen. Not everyone who falls in a cave system can walk out. Foley could walk out of Fitton Cave. His injuries were serious but survivable. The environment gave him a margin for error, and he had sufficient strength and condition on his side to use it. Cave environments don't always permit this. On August 30th, 1986, at Morrison Spring in Florida, 2 divers entered an overhead environment without the safety systems designed to provide this margin. They didn't walk out. This incident is the case of 2 divers whose names are unclear but appear in reports. And this incident will be our guest in the next video. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.